And debate. The politicians cut the ribbon on the Echo Village pallet shelters for the homeless today. Better late than never and way over budget, and still no homeless in there tonight, but they'll be coming.
Dozens of warm beds will finally start being filled this week. We have Team 10 coverage tonight. Let's start with NBC 10's Gabrielle Caracciolo. She's live in Providence with our first real look inside. Gabrielle?
When you get up close to these shelters, it's apparent there are fire suppression systems everywhere you look, more than most of us have in our own homes. But those fire suppression systems were a step the governor said he was not willing to skip over, even as people have been sleeping out in these freezing cold temperatures.
I'm ready to, just be out there helping, make people feel comfortable.
House of Hope staffers like Latiquia Smith will start helping people move into this pallet shelter village.
I will come in, I will show them that they have their welcome kit that has bathroom stuff, some activities.
There are 45 of these 70-square-foot shelters, plus other buildings with bathrooms, showers, and laundry. Originally set to open in March of 2024, they've been sitting vacant for months.
It's been a very long and hard road, and I wish that it hadn't taken us this long to get here.
These fire suppression systems were a big part of what delayed the opening of these one-room pallet shelters. They don't fit squarely into any of the state's building code, and it was decided they would have to have these sprinklers, fire extinguishers, and fire retardant paint inside before people could start sleeping here. What are some of the services that House of Hope is offering on site for the people who are going to be seeking shelter here?
Case management support. We'll be offering harm reduction support, connections to job and employment training, benefits support, whatever that person needs. We start all of that work with, "Hi, how are you, and how can I help?"
Despite the challenges, state leaders like Housing Secretary Deborah Goddard aren't ruling out the possibility of opening more. What would you do differently if you do look to open more pallet shelter villages like this moving forward?
We are going to continue meeting. We're going to bring them some examples of this is a no currently. Could it ever become a yes?
There's been a lot of hurdles that we've had to overcome, and I hope that part of the legacy of this project is that future programs move forward more quickly than we have had to.
Starting tomorrow, the site here will be staffed 24/7. They're hoping to have people stay in these one-room pallet shelters for about 3 to 9 months until they can move into more permanent housing. In Providence, Gabrielle Caracciolo, NBC 10 News.
Gabrielle, tomorrow's moving day. Beginning tomorrow, the first 45 people will be moved into Echo Village.
So who gets in and how? Well, Dan is back with that story tonight. Dan?
Gene and Patrice, won't you be my neighbor? This is the neighborhood right here. The House of Hope says the people who will live in these pallet shelters could be there for months at a time. But how is it decided? Who lives in them? No specifics on who gets in or who gets kicked out, but tonight we know a couple of the criteria that advocates will be looking for if you want to live at Echo Village. The state's coordinated entry system will still be used here. Its role is to make sure the people who need housing, including at Echo Village, are heard and entered into the system. But today we learned there will be some preference given towards those in Providence. But the pallet shelters will also be there for those with the highest risk. Translation, those that need shelter now to help keep them alive.
So the eligibility for Echo Village will be folks, again, who are the highest acute, meaning those folks that are highest likelihood to die on the streets. So folks who are unsheltered, folks who are chronically homeless, folks who have incredibly high needs, who really need to get into a warm, safe place.
Now, the House of Hope says people will be moved in groups of 10 to 15 in a phased approach that begins tomorrow. If they have to move faster or slower, they will, but soon enough, all 45 of these pallet shelters will be in use. I'm Dan Janig. Now back to you guys.
All right, Dan, thanks. Well, the shelters ballooned in price. Last month, the NBC 10 I-Team broke it down for us. The first estimate to buy and care to some degree for the people inside the shelters was 45 units at $3.3 million. Final price from the State Department of Housing, $4.6 million. So per unit, all in, purchase, assembly, and village administration, that's a 40% jump from original projections. Factoring in added construction costs, including fire suppression measures like sprinklers and specialized paint that the state fire marshal insisted upon. He's looking at them more as hotel rooms than anything else.
But they're ready now. Our coverage continues now on turn210.com. Find this story on our homepage. There's a detailed look inside one of these new pallet shelters.
Will we